Are you looking for a video on how to change percent to fraction and decimal and vice versa? Then this video is right for you. So without much further ado, let's begin. Hi, my name is Rowel Carpio, a math teacher and a coach, and I do math tutorial in my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to present how to change percent to fraction and decimal and vice versa. What is a percent? Percent comes from Latin percentum, that is for every 100. The Latin word centum means 100. When we have 1%, that is 1 out of 100 or 1 over 100. Percent is denoted by a symbol percent or the word percent is written next to the number. For example, 10% or 10 with the percent symbol. So we have here example number 1. How do we write 10% in fraction and in decimal? So in this case, we are going to write the equivalent of 10% in fraction and in decimal. So we know that percent is for every 100. So when we have 10%, that is equivalent to 10 out of 100, or that is 10 over 100. So 10 over 100, we can reduce it to 1 over 10 by dividing both the numerator and the denominator by 10, since 10 is the GCF of 10 and 100, to give us 1 over 10. So, the fraction equivalent to 10% is 10 over 100, or that is 1 over 10. Now, when we change this fraction into decimal, we know that we just simply count the number of zeros in the denominator. Since our denominator is 100 and there are 2 zeros, so we have to move our decimal point in our numerator 2 decimal places to the left. So when we have 10 and it is understood that the decimal point of this whole number 10 is after the 0. So we have to move 2 decimal places since there are 2 zeros in our denominator. Since our denominator is 100. 1, 2 to give us 0.10, or that is 0.1, or we can also write this as 0.1 or 0.10. So meaning to say that 10% is equivalent to 10 over 100 or 1/10, or in decimal form that is equivalent to 0.10 or 0.1. So let us have sample problem number 2. How do we write 0.25 in percent? So this time, the given is in decimal and we are going to change it into percent. So we know that when we change this into fraction form, we just simply move the decimal point to the right to make it a whole number. So 1, 2. Since we move 2 decimal places, so meaning to say that the denominator has 2 zeros to make it 100. So meaning to say that 0.25 is equivalent to 25 over 100. Since percent is over 100, so meaning to say that 0.25 is equivalent to 25%. Now let us have sample number 3. How do we write 5% in fraction and in decimal? So again, we know that percent is for every 100. So if we have 5%, that is equivalent to 5 over 100. The GCF of 5 and 100 is 5, so we can divide our numerator and denominator by 5 to give us 1 over 20. So meaning to say that the fraction equivalent to 5% is 5 over 100, or in lowest term, that is 1 over 20. Now, when we change this fraction 5 over 100 into decimal form, we just simply move 2 decimal places because there are 2 zeros in our denominator since our denominator is 100. So, the decimal point of this whole number 5 is understood to be after the 5. So, we have to move 2 decimal places to the left, 1, 2, and then we are going to replace the empty space with 0. So, we have 1 empty space, so we are going to replace it with 0 to give us 0.05. So, meaning to say that 5% in decimal form is equivalent to 0.05. Now, let us have number 4. How do we write 1/2% in fraction and in decimal form? So, we know that percent is equivalent to per 100. So, when we have 1/2%, that is equivalent to 1/2 over 100. So, we know that 1/2 is 0.5 over 100. Now, since we have a fraction, definitely we cannot have a numerator or a denominator, or both numerator and denominator a decimal number. So we have to make our numerator a whole number by moving the decimal point to the right. So when we move 1 decimal place to the right, it will give us 5. We have also to move 1 decimal place in our denominator to the right. And then we are going to replace this empty space with 0 to give us 1,000. So in other words, 0.5 over 100 is equivalent to 5 over 1,000, or in lowest term, that is equivalent to 1 over 200. Since we have to divide the 5 and 1,000 by 5, since 5 is the greatest common factor or the GCF of 5 and 1,000. So meaning to say that 1/2% is equivalent to 5 over 1,000 or 1 over 200 in lowest term. Now, how are we going to change this into decimal? Now, in changing this into decimal form, we have to move the decimal point in our denominator going to the left by 3 decimal places, since our denominator is 1,000 and 1,000 has 3 zeros. So, the decimal point of the whole number 5 is understood to be after the digit 5. So, we have to move 3 decimal places to the left, 1, 2, 3. And we are going to replace all empty spaces with zeros, 0 and 0, to give us 0.005. So meaning to say that 1/2% is equivalent to 5 over 1,000 or 1 over 20 in fraction, and 0.005 in decimal form. So there you have it, how to change percent to fraction and decimal and vice versa. I hope that you have learned and enjoyed watching this video. See you again in my next video. Thank you.